You're listening to a Bay of Islands Radio original podcast.
Incoming transmission.
Beam aboard for another episode of Sunday Night Geek, live from the Bay of Islands Radio Studio in Warnabrook, Newfoundland. Find us online at boir.ca and by subspace transmission 100.1 FM or on Rogers Channel 9. Join our hosts, Angel Sky Cosplay, Sean the Tech Ninja, and the Big Dirty Nerd as they travel through time and space, review all the nerd news this week, talk about things nobody ever talks about, and answers questions no one asked. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Sunday Night Geek. I am the Big Dirty Nerd, Jeff, just me and Sean tonight.
Yeah.
No Toby, no Angela. Toby is home.
Toby's listening right now.
Toby is listening right now, and Angela is at work.
Yeah, there's a dot in the room, and it's tuned into that right now.
My God, why would you subject him to us? Holy Lord, that poor animal.
Yeah. Well, if I had the app like she has on her phone, I could look in on the nanny cam
and see what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's probably just chilling out right now.
Yeah, we use it.
Actually, he might hear your voice and be all like, "We're dead. Yeah. We're dead. Why don't you dead?"
Angela was away for work Monday night, and so I hooked up the laptop and everything and the webcam and everything to the TV so he could try to FaceTime with his mommy. He was staring at the speakers, but had no clue as to her on the TV. At one point, looked for a second, but that was it.
But dogs don't have really good 2D perception, though, do they? I don't think they do.
They do, but I guess the concept of a television itself is
beyond them.
Yeah. They look for more three-dimensional...
Yeah. Stuff they can hunt.
Yeah, or stuff just like comprehend in person on a moving panel.
Yeah.
But the sound, he was just like going over and looking right in the speaker, wondering if she's in the speaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Recognize the sound.
The hallway mirror, too. We were doing stuff with the hallway mirror before, and he was like trying to look around and see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, again, 3D, right?
Yeah. Trying
to see what's behind the mirror because he sees something in the mirror. So
he might
three-dimensional perception. So before we get too much into tonight's show, I want to offer condolences to the comic book family this week. One of the greats passed away at 84, Neil Adams.
Neil Adams, mentor to a lot of people.
Mentor to a ton of people.
Well, he ran a whole stable back in the 70s and Carlton Comics, too. And like it was like basically like a flop house for artists and like where they'd start working on the craft because that was like a big incubation chamber. Carlton was in the 70s, just before they sold off the comic. And he really touched a lot of Marvel and DC more so than Marvel characters. I mean, he introduced the muscular Batman, I guess you could say, because up until that point, up until the point that Neil Adams took it over, Batman was very much the Adam West Slider.
Yeah, not exactly what you'd call the big bulky Batman. Cardio guy. Yeah. So
Adam West was a runner.
He kind of redefined the look of comic books. The look of superheroes, how they were perceived.
I have a poster of his, like the Batman cover with the Joker card and the Joker.
Oh yeah.
That's in my games room.
Yeah, that's a classic.
That's up on the wall in the games room.
That's a classic. You could almost take anything that Neil Adams did.
Bucky O'Hare. Do you remember Bucky
O'Hare? Yeah,
he created that. People don't.
I didn't realize that one. Okay,
that was him under Continuum Comics originally.
And another thing that he did for the comic book industry was, of course, he fought for the rights of creators. Well, not Jack Kirby, Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel. When they created Superman, they sold the rights. A lot of people don't realize this. They sold the rights to Superman for $135. And basically we're left with nothing. Yeah. And Neil Adams was one of the ones who stood up first and said, this is not right. Yeah. And I mean, still to this day, they're fighting over the estate. Yeah. But got the creator rights for those characters.
But even like returning the artwork afterwards to people.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
I remember seeing him years ago on an interview. I think it was on Prisoners of Gravity on TV Ontario, and he's saying like he was going through the offices because you'd work in the offices a lot of times. Then you wouldn't freelance from home unless you were a bigger name. And like some guy was just there using that chopper and just chopping up
pages.
Yep. And he's like, we just destroy them afterwards.
Yeah, artists that spend hours and hours and hours on their art, and it just got destroyed. Yeah. So Neil Adams was definitely a revolutionary in the comic book industry, and it's. He was 84 years old. It was very sad to read that he had passed away this week, but his impact, without a doubt, definitely felt.
He always reminded me a bit when you saw him with Shatner, in a way, for some reason.
A little bit.
Like Shatner now?
Yeah, like he's definitely a bigger-than-life kind of guy. Yeah. Like, just like the bulk of him, like he was so big, right? And he just would overpower a room. And
that era of the Bronze Age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was when the conventions were really starting to be a thing. And
Yeah.
you getting a stable of like creators coming out of like these fans that were mainstays of these conventions as fans, and like, yeah, and they all looked up at guys like this because they opened right up to guys like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
They did,
ladies
yeah.
like that and whatever.
Yeah, and you know, that was back in the day when everybody, like you said, worked in a bullpen.
Yeah.
So they were all either family or enemies, frenemies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stories about the old bullpen days.
Yeah.
You know, Kirby and Lee, of course, are the two luminaries of the bullpen days.
Yeah, I heard a couple of ones from, I'm trying to remember his name. He passed away a couple of years ago too. He worked a lot on, he created Wildcat, but he also worked a lot on Green Lantern, and like talking about like, oh yeah, you're just there basically in a t-shirt and trousers and like the smell and everything. Just a bunch of like guys just cranking out stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty different times than what it is nowadays. But Neil was one of those ones who forged the path, I guess you could say, to today's creators. So
Norma Ray in a way.
Yeah, kind of like that. So sad passing, but you know, we carry on, and his legacy will be forever.
Yeah.
Much like Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, all those guys. Definitely one of the greats.
Apparently the Kirbys have Jack's little spot on display, his little drawing spot with his chair and his easel and his little table.
Oh man,
to the side. You
yeah,
ever see that?
yeah, absolutely. Like this is, you know, I mean, Jack Kirby was the king. That's why they call him the king.
It looks so gorgeous though when you look at it. It's just so weathered.
Yeah.
He's drawn
And Jack Kirby was like, when he was doing stuff with Stan Lee, like Jack Kirby was the senior. he was the elder statesman.
Yeah,
he was old when he was doing that stuff.
And he was kind of the same as Neil back in the day, fighting just for rights of the guys in the bullpen. But it was so funny though. Like one part that makes me mad about Kirby, he's drawn the Ninja Turtles, but he never drew Wolverine.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't know that.
Jack Kirby Ninja Turtles art if you look it up, but he's never drawn Wolverine.
Never drawn Wolverine.
Never.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Unfortunate, sad, but you know that's the way.
We're getting
that's the way
old,
life
man.
is. You know, we're all going to go that way sooner or later. So yeah,
I'm hoping later.
yeah, me
I
too.
still got a lot of fun planned.
I don't.
I do.
I'm done. Like if I were to go now,
I just got a 3D printer for Christmas. I'm just getting into it.
Yeah. Angela got a 3D printer for Christmas.
No. That's my Christmas bonus paid for that.
Oh,
Not my Christmas bonus. My
I
bonus.
thought it was a gift for Angela.
Well, it was a gift for us, but no, my overtime paid for that.
Oh, I see.
No, she's been looking through Thingiverse, and she stood over my shoulder watching me mix, telling me what colors to put in properly to mix the stuff for the dice she was getting.
Oh yeah,
printed up.
Yeah.
And then after she went in after they're all cleaned up, and that she'd use like the file and everything on them, then paint them secondary color and that.
Very cool.
And she seals them up.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've been having fun with that thing.
Yeah, very cool. So a lot of stuff going on this week. Of course, Picard was on, Flash was on.
Never got to watch Flash this week yet.
Before we get really into what is on, was on, or anything that's going on, let's talk about a couple of announcements that were made this
Cancellations.
week. Cancellation. Batwoman, cancel.
Well, a lot of the
Legends,
Arrowverse
canceled.
stuff has been cropped out because, well, they're gearing up the CW for sale. You're going to see a lot of the shows being put on their respective networks, like Paramount has Paramount Plus, and Warner Brothers has HBO Max. So you're going to see a lot of the superhero stuff for DC go over there, and maybe have secondary rights over at CW for some like supply and demand agreement.
Oh, okay.
So that's the thing too. They're probably just trimming down stuff.
I did not know that. I did not realize they were for
The
sale.
good thing is with a lot of stuff Warner Brothers cancels, they eventually would get around back to it for stuff. So I'm hopeful maybe they're going to plan something and it's going to go over to like HBO Max and maybe like a limited series finish off because you just got Booster Gold in the show.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like it's a comedy, and like you just got one of the biggest like comedic DC characters on there, and they were gonna. Zach Braff was already entertaining the idea of coming over as Ted Kord,
right? See, like
so, but the Venture Brothers had the same thing happen.
How can you ignore that? Right?
Venture Brothers got canceled. Now they got like a series of movies planned out for them. They'll probably do the same thing. These will probably start being like little short, like direct to video things. Like we watched the John Constantine one, still Matt Ryan voicing him, but it's animated.
Yes,
and he's stuck in the house in eternity or something like that as a punishment, and like there's these little shorts like that. Although there's a great one of the Spider-Man style Blue Beetle.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's done like the Spider-Man cartoon from the 70s, but it's Blue Beetle.
Okay.
And like the rest of the Action Squad characters from Charlton.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I gotta send it to you. I forgot. I didn't mention that to you.
No.
It's hilarious because like it's Blue Beetle is the Flying Beetle Net, and his psychic is partner is Question.
Yeah, okay.
And sometimes he has some real objectivism moments where he almost melts down, basically, and they laugh it off. But like then there was like Captain Atom pops in, Nightshade, and all the Charlton characters. But it's done even like color errors, because there's a special features afterwards you can watch. They had to intentionally put in the color errors because the way you animate now, that's really not possible to do color error.
Right, yeah.
Digital paint.
Yeah.
So they actually did some stuff where like you look in like in the opening credits to it, and it's done like Spider-Man, even like watercolor washy sky, that funky color, like that was even done. And like the angles and everything. Even like at the end where they're riding out the distance, like that thing where like Spider-Man stood back on like the sun is rising or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even do that.
Okay.
It's hilarious. It's great. Me and Angela watch it, and this is one of the best parts of it.
So with all this stuff being canceled, I mean, like we still got the Flash is still out there.
Yeah.
I mean, what about the other projects that the CW?
Superman Lois is definitely going full steam, but that's like.
But is it though? I mean, we thought like
No. They're not canceling that. They got like there's a lot of these articles that'll start. You know, they're $20 a pay for the person to write to start.
no,
Like, maybe they're going to cancel the other shows.
About that, but like we thought that Batwoman was going to be a strong series too, and they canned it.
But Batwoman was like them trying to also salvage something that was created just for a certain celebrity that decked it. So they were trying to salvage something too, and it was starting to go good. But like I said, they're trying to look at their losses, look what's good, look what's not. Legends was on its 7th season, which it got in a good solid run.
Got in a good solid run.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean.
Say.
They'll probably start doing like just like movies of a miniseries or whatever. They'll probably still leave that door open. But everything's going streaming. CW is, very much, they even said, like, people like, oh, it's looking good for sale. And they're like, yeah, if you want to buy it off us, come talk. But, like, it's 2 different companies owning it, too. It's Warner Brothers and Paramount. Because it was a result of the merger, UPN and WB.
And WB, right.
Yeah, so they're wanting to sell off somebody else, so somebody else can buy it up.
Makes sense.
Approval. But that's the thing, right? So, like, same thing, like I said, like a lot of the Paramount made stuff is going to go over to probably Paramount Plus and probably have a little deal with CW for supply. Kind of like now Fox being not Fox as it was. It's, all of its stuff is being produced under Fox and now Disney.
That kind of causes me a little bit of concern, though, because, of course, Paramount had Supergirl. Or CBS had Supergirl.
Yeah, but they transferred it over.
I mean, they transferred it over because they mismanaged the first season.
Oh yeah,
they couldn't get the tone of the show right.
No, they weren't even making it in Vancouver. They're making it in California.
Yeah, right. It just didn't. It wasn't meshing with the rest of the.
He's like, no, bring that here, that here. I'll fix it. But that's the thing, right?
So I mean, for somebody who sees that would cause me some concern that they're going to do right, like Paramount, CBS, or whatever you want to call them, however you want to refer to them, like. They've got the Star Trek franchise, and they're nailing that.
Yeah.
I mean, are they really going to do justice to superheroes?
No, they're not going to bother because that's going to go over to HBO Max, not Paramount Plus.
No, but if there's anything that they can get their hands onto for
no, they won't bother because that's the thing about like dividing rights and things like that is different with streaming. You can just show your own stuff and that, but like that's where everything's going. They have CBS anyways. They don't need to be maintaining a second network that isn't even all theirs. Same thing with Warner Brothers now. They have HBO Max, and that's a success. Yeah. And then you have Greg Berlanti, who produces all the superhero stuff and Archie stuff. So anything comic booky. So no, this guy, he would be very adamant about any of his stuff going over to Paramount. Those are his plums, those sweetest plums of his. And so anything like Stargirl's under his like that Greg movie you had at the end of the shows.
Yeah.
That's his production company.
Yeah.
Anything superheroes. Even like back when they were doing John Constantine for NBC. That was done under his company.
Right. Okay.
So that's why it was able to gel so well when they brought John back under the CW.
Okay.
But I think Greg's getting ready to move everything into streaming. So like,
well, that'd be good because like right now I'm missing so much because it's not being provided on any of the other platforms except for Crave.
As well, they got Gotham Knights coming up. Gotham Knights is a thing.
Yeah.
And that's like got a few people we know already attached to it. And there's supposed to be like the superhero college thing as well. It's supposed to be John Diggle. Supposed to like in charge of these like new generation of heroes.
Really?
That's been announced for a while. Still in development, but yeah, that's why they've been pushing Diggle around. Diggle's going to have his own show too, right? And that's why he's appeared in everything for the last little while.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to keep a lot of the players in. It's not going to be so much the Arrowverse because although they're showing stuff, it's got a slightly. The crisis has made ripples, I guess they can explain it as. But like there's timing off. Like there's 15-year-old children when they were toddlers 2 seasons ago, right? Like there was a time jump, obviously, but there wasn't. but there was.
Yeah.
So maybe this whole generation of heroes. And like Flash is gearing up, popping up with another Legion character.
Who? Flash? Who?
Phantom Girl. The Tanya Wazo girl? That's Phantom Girl.
Oh, is it?
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know.
Tanya
No.
Wazo.
Remember, not a DC guy.
It's weird because that's 31st century, but they're using Legion characters in the 20th century. Like they're trying to form the Legion in the 20th century. Which is, I don't know what they're doing. And I guess this is going to tie into maybe the Flash movie and fix up
Probably.
things.
Yeah.
Because that's she's also popped up at the same time in Young Justice. Her and her and Connor are stuck together in the Phantom Zone. You discovered this week they are indeed in the Phantom Zone.
Okay.
Her people use a form of Phantom Zone technology, which allows them to pass through stuff.
Yeah.
Phantom Girl is like she can be a material.
Yeah.
And actually go into the Phantom Zone if she wants to.
Yeah.
And and the other week they showed how Orion's Berserker Rage is and using the Mother Box calm down. They parallel it. One of the heroes' kids has autism and uses music for the same kind of thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so she had a better understanding of them. But yeah, no, everything's going like big. They're actually as well. See, it was announced the other day. Everything DC is getting reorganized under one department. It's probably going to be Jim Lee and 2 other guys. But like everything, the comics, the shows, the movies, the merch, everything is under one thing. They just want to really compartmentalize with this new merger, Warner Brothers Discovery. So, like, yeah. It's their Marvel, right?
Well, it's about time that they did that. Like, realistically, like, DC has got a powerhouse of talent and a powerhouse of content, of IP. But for the longest time, it just felt mishmashed.
Yeah.
Thrown against the wall. Let's see what sticks.
Well, the reason why the comics are doing so good now is post like Rebirth. Now they're like to the point where like we're even comfortable with, like if a creator comes in for a new arc and they want to do Neil Adams era Batman stories as just an arc in our current comic series. Yeah, sure, not a one shot. He'll do like 4 issues, but set in this, sure, why not? Everything's continuity right now.
Good.
That's the thing. DC's really embrace it for stuff like that. Although they farmed out like Scooby Doo, and that's now over at IDW. They don't do any kids content,
Right.
to keep from brand confusion. So
Well,
like
I can see
Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Marvel does it too. Marvel's youth comic book line is at IDW. Miles Morales has a series over there. There's a youth series for Miles Morales over there. A lot of the creators, see, a lot of the companies are trying not to have youth content. They're not making money off it because there was a Hanna-Barbera line at DC at one point.
Yes, there was.
Didn't make money.
No.
No.
So there was a Hanna-Barbera and there was also DC Kids, wasn't there?
Yeah. They didn't make
any money.
They're farming them out, in other words. So they let that stuff go over there.
But you know that makes a lot of sense because like a lot of comics nowadays are geared more towards our age group, like the kids who grew up with them in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah, we're still reading them today. Like
we're like,
tablets and stuff like that. Like you didn't even have to get a hard copy.
No, exactly. Like I got Marvel Unlimited on my tablet, and if I want to read 80 comics in a night, I just flick through and read whatever I want to read. Right?
I got to download the newest issue, One Star Squadron. Actually, that's great.
But so having something that's focused strictly on youth, I guess to get them into the mindset of sequential storytelling. Sequential storytelling.
I think it's as well because IDW does a lot of collected things and they distribute to a lot of kids stores and that.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because I've seen some I've seen some Marvel stuff with IDW stamps on them. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because like a lot of the Marvel the Star Trek hardcovers I got same thing.
IDW. Yeah.
But yeah, so they're concentrating everything under one division. So they're probably reanalyzing how they're showing live action DC now.
Good, about time. Like I said, about time.
Not just concentrating it all under HBO Max, but just, letting it spread and like do things like, and like, I would love that, like a mini series every so often, just Legends would pop up like for 2-3 months every year. That's fine enough. I'm happy.
But that would be a season.
That would be a season, but they don't have to be obligated to do it every year. And they can just do specials, whatever. Like,
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But that's the thing. One shots, limited series, the comic book format in live action works. They've shown it. The Bebo thing was a little weird, but there's comics like that.
Man, like, no, seriously though, DC Legends of Tomorrow was weird. Anyway.
Well, they had a Bebo animated Christmas special. Basically,
it was.
I watched
strange.
it. But basically, what it was is it literally was you were sitting down watching just some cartoon from that universe. Yeah. It's literally what it was.
Yeah.
Chris Kattan voiced him, by the way. Yeah. From Saturday Night Live. But no, that's what I mean. Like they got all this stuff like merch and everything. They can be a real more concerted effort because look at Star Trek. Star Trek's feeling. In just a few days, we're gonna get Strange New Worlds, aren't we? Or no?
Yeah. Okay, dude. Hey, calm down.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But no, like I haven't watched Flash this week, but they're still making a concerted effort. Some stuff that's
Flash,
the main.
I gotta say, like
they're concentrating on the main core.
The Flash this week was.
I didn't get to watch it this week, but I heard I'm not Deathstorm stuff.
I'm not going to spoil it. Really good.
Yeah.
I definitely think they're going in the direction we talked about last week, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down and watch it tonight with her.
I'm surprised. Like the last couple of episodes, like it's nice seeing the Flash having a big bad that he actually has to fight. Like,
that's what I mean. Like they were doing this weird stuff for a couple seasons.
Oh man, were they ever?
They were playing
Run
with
for love.
They were and they're doing details of things, but playing with it too much and going too far. Where
big time.
Deathstorm is basically like they're not going beat for beat, but basically they're getting the main spirit of it again.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like they're getting back to like actual meaty stories.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. So I mean, if they continue this way, I mean, this is season 8. There is a season 9 coming.
Yeah.
Is it correct? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Season 9. If season 9 is the last season, they could go out on a high note.
Well, the film is going to be a thing too.
Yeah.
It's always a discussion. Like, well, if they're having all these problems, Ezra Miller, they can always put Barry Allen, Grant Gustin in.
Grant Gustin in there.
Something happens, and like they do like Crisis, where Flash dies, but only one of them dies.
Yeah. Yeah. Do that.
He has to do the whole run himself backwards in time thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry, Grant. That's it. There's no reason they can't do it.
You don't get to retire, buddy. You got to do it again, but in the movies.
Yeah. I mean, Grant Gustin has proven himself. I mean, at some points, he's a wishy-washy Barry Allen.
But you got to work with what you're given, too, as far as writing.
When he first took on the role, I was really impressed. Then, of course, the writing for the show got garbage. Last 2 seasons.
John Wesley Shipp showed off a random picture in a random city of him and one of the plays Reverse Flash hanging out.
Oh, really?
He's dressed as the first Flash. The
Jay Garrick Flash?
Yeah, Jay Garrick. Yeah. Oh, in Young Justice, he's aged real time. They were out last week's episode. He was having his 102nd birthday.
Oh, wow.
And they had a cake there for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is he still the Flash?
Yeah. He's still Jay Garrick. He still looks like he's in his mid-50s.
Oh, God. Well, I guess he doesn't age quite the same.
There's a thing that the JSA and some of their spouses were exposed to, whatever, and severely retarded their aging. So, like, yeah, a lot of them are in their hundreds now. Yeah. Green Lantern,
which is
Alan
kind of
too.
The direction they're taking, I guess, on Stargirl.
DC said one big thing is don't ignore the World War II thing at all.
No.
It's intrinsic to what it is.
But it always has been.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It makes it the All-Star Squadron.
Yeah, like the World War II stuff has always been big on the DC Comics front.
I mean, you get that same feel to Indiana Jones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's this whole like magic to the Art Deco and everything like that. Like, and that's what they need to do as well. They need to start going back and reading from that.
Yeah.
Like seeing some like superheroes in like the Battle of Midway and stuff like that. Like, because these are alternate universes too. They don't have to play with history like they do. Like, it's weird.
No, that's right. Okay, so let's talk Star Trek.
Let's talk Star Trek. And
May 5th is Strange New Worlds. Man, oh man. The closer we get, the more they're dropping stuff. And it's just like
trailers and trailers and pictures and pictures and designs and uniforms.
And they had a screening of the 2 episodes this week. And I don't know what exactly it was. CinemaCon, I think it was.
Yeah, because 2 of the Discovery cast couldn't make it. They were at Con in Saskatoon, actually. Wilson Cruz is in Saskatoon for a convention.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't make it.
Yeah.
They had the premiere.
But everybody is saying, like, this is classic.
Yeah.
Like, if you like TOS, TNG, that, like, if you're not a fan of the new Trek stuff, you're going to love this stuff.
I can't
I'm like, okay. Now, I'm a fan of it all, so it doesn't matter to me, right?
Let's see. When I think about TOS, I think about Saturdays at like noon. It would come on CBC.
Yeah.
Either I'm watching it in a black and white TV in like, a little fort somewhere or at the cabin or like even just at home.
Yeah.
And just classic, just like so much like that warm feel.
Yeah.
And if it's like that, oh God, I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, okay.
And apparently we see Admiral Robert April.
Yep.
But the Admiral Robert April we're familiar with was based on Gene Roddenberry. Yeah. This one is definitely not because it's being portrayed by a black actor.
Oh.
Which I'm like, and of course, the toxic fanboys were all like, Robert April can't be a black man. And I'm like, shut up.
Nothing in canon says that he's not.
No, exactly. Oh, well, no, the animated series.
Unless you've seen it.
Robert April's character was in the animated series.
Yeah, but Cochran was also in TOS, and he was in First Contact.
Exactly,
so, I mean, that's the thing.
Like, don't get on with your baloney. At least they're paying attention to true Trek history. The character exists, and now we're going to see him on screen. I don't care if he's white, black, pink, or blue. I don't care.
But I wonder if some of them forget Richard Daystrom is black as well, as of the Daystrom Institute. The name on the building is a black man's name.
It's a black man's name, Daystrom. Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. Like, guys, stop being toxic fanboys.
I just care about more and more stories.
Give me more stories. Exactly.
Some people are saying, they're suggesting, apparently, Kirk's ship, because you'll see Kirk as a captain.
Yeah. In season 2.
Yeah. But he's captaining the Farragut. Yeah. But they're apparently saying the Farragut's going to be possibly a Saladin.
Oh.
She might be a Sally, because apparently he captained a smaller ship. He didn't captain because the Constitutions were the biggest ones, right?
Yeah, they were the capital ships.
Yeah. But in the more unified design of Starfleet, they were making all these different variants off the same parts, right? So he was more of a patrol ship on the Farragut. That's what they said before. So there's rumors she may be a Saladin. They're allowed to use it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No. But that's interesting because. Well, no, not in canon. Never mind, because it was in Debt of Honor, which was a graphic novel. The Farragut was a Constitution-class ship, but
and the names in the model kit too. Names on the model kit too. I had the model kit back in the day. And the Farragut was one of the names you could use.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
make it happen. Who cares?
But that's what I mean. Like maybe he's like a little PTSD or something. God knows from
the only thing that would bother me about that is at the time when Pike was commanding officer of the Enterprise, I always thought Kirk was a lieutenant.
Well,
I mean, is he a lieutenant rank holding the position of CO of the ship? So he's a captain?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's probably maybe lieutenant commander at most.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
That makes sense.
That's what I mean. He's captaining, smaller ships too. That's the thing. It's like the same thing with like actual navies.
Oh, yeah.
Smaller ships, your CO is not, a captain. They're just the title. Same thing as like in the Navy. If you're a naval officer heading over a rank of Marines, you're called the colonel of that Marine brigade.
Yeah, same thing. So,
but that's what I mean.
That would make sense. That would be perfectly okay with that.
Well, I think that's what the Enterprise was, is his first actual captaincy as a captain.
Yeah.
He was a bridge officer or whatever before. But it's really, I want to see that era, and then maybe we can get some stuff for post Star Trek 6.
What do you mean?
That era too, the Lost era, a lot of people refer to as post Star Trek 6.
Oh yeah.
If we can start seeing stuff just before TOS, can we start seeing stuff just after that?
See,
well, we don't need to see the Enterprise B. I'm not interested in that at all. I'm not interested in that.
I would be much more interested.
Maybe a guest appearance.
I would much more be interested in seeing the Excelsior under Sulu.
Well, that's the thing too, or at least Sulu handing, and maybe a few episodes of that, but Sulu handing it off to somebody else as Sulu's getting ready to retire, maybe mentoring somebody.
That could be.
So, and Sulu stays on as like an admiral.
Admiral Hikaru Sulu. I like that.
Yeah. Old Silver Ghost, like in that, they called him that in one of the comic series IDW did. They did this weird thing where it was an altered continuity, and like he was like the Federation were on the run or whatever, and like he was called the Silver Ghost because he had the Excelsior or whatever, and he was out and he was old man in the Excelsior with his crew. And he had silver.
I like that.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, maybe they'll work that little name in or over, because I'm pretty sure he had a distinguished career. He had to have.
Oh, so Sulu.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But
I mean, there was. If you look at stuff that happened after TOS and before the motion picture, Sulu was on the command track.
Yeah.
Before that, like he was supposed to be off the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he was just probably helping her get her shoved off under the new captain and everything, and all that happened.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. And like, the whole thing about like they were trying to have a different image of Starfleet at that point too. So that's why all those ships in the Battle of Binary Stars are shuffling a lot of them out.
Oh yeah.
Because there were a lot of them were ages old.
Yeah.
Old systems, they were even saying it, but that's what I mean, like that whole shift in Starfleet. I'd love to see it now, like, and we're seeing it with Stranger New Worlds.
Well, a lot of it happened because of the Klingon War. Yeah, right. Like when you look at the history of the fleet, like you said, like a lot of that shift. Yeah, like a lot of those older ships at the Battle of the Binary Stars. Yeah. got phased out because we were the Federation had to develop more advanced technology to take on the more advanced technology of the Klingons.
What I'd love to see is like if they do a post Star Trek 6 series, is like where the Klingons are a bit more friendly to the Federation. Is that the recrystallization process maybe is like a Klingon human thing because of where Praxis has been basically annihilated. No, that's their storage lithium, right?
Yeah.
They come up with the recrystallization process, so you start seeing some of these starships coming out.
Yep.
And you're not seeing actual Klingons in Starfleet until Worf, but yeah. Maybe a young Worf series would be cool. When he's growing up
like
among
young
humans.
Sheldon?
Yeah, kind of like, well, they could do that. They own both.
So many.
They run both. At least.
Unpopular opinion because so many people talk about Captain Worf, General Worf, blah, blah, blah. Worf, I'm sorry, has got to be one of the most uninteresting characters.
I'd like to see him being brought up in Belarus with Jewish parents like they are, because like they are. And Nikolai's like bar mitzvah. Yeah. Worf infamously loved cake. So like the first, like he's like 7 years old, and like it's kind of like what's that one, Reacher. So like his brother's older, but he's just as tall, kind of thing, right? So he's like 7 or 8 year old Klingon, but he's the size of a tween,
full size human.
Yeah, and he's there munching down cake. He's just discovered cake and stuff like that, right? Like kind of like the same thing with like Son of a Critch, but like that kind of thing where you see a character or somebody you're kind of familiar with back in their formative years. That's less explored, and that's fun too. But yeah, General Captain Worf wouldn't be.
I would not be interested.
I would only be interested if they made O'Brien his first officer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I could see that.
I thought that one through too.
Yeah.
Because when he was on the Enterprise, when we see him as a helmsman, he's holding the brevet rank of lieutenant junior grade. Yeah, you know how I thought that one through? Yeah. He had to have a brevet rank in order to be the chief tackle officer aboard the Rutledge, because he had to command actual enlisted and ensigns.
Yeah, but we all know.
But then at the end, he was able to resign his commission and just be a field.
But not even that. We all know that behind the production scenes,
they just had
nobody had thought out the enlisted ranks.
No, nobody did at all.
Nobody had thought.
But I figured a way out of it.
Yeah,
I figured a way out of it. Because he was at the end of his tour on the Rutledge, he was their chief
tactical officer.
Yeah, and if you say chief tactical officer, not chief of tactical, you're suggesting that's a commission rank.
Yes.
And he's brevet.
You're absolutely right. But the real reason behind it is because nobody thought about the enlisted ranks.
Yeah. But that's how you get them.
Starfleet has never had any kind of on-air enlisted rank except for Chief O'Brien.
And I figured out a convenient actual problem that presented that made that happen is because all these brevet ranks from the Cardassian Federation War were ending their brevet commissions and going back being enlisted. So there's this dearth of enlisted in Starfleet now, but they have to have some form of command privilege if they're heading over departments. Like he actually had a promotion to full lieutenant when he's the transport chief, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then his brevet rank ended, and then he got a hollow pip.
Yeah.
So, but you're like, okay, you're a senior warrant officer or petty officer, or whatever, and we'll give you command privilege over anybody in your department.
Yeah.
You won't boss anybody else around, but anybody in your department, you have full command over. And then afterwards, like, the War Dog wanted to go Deep Space Nine and kind of like tame out because he was heavily decorated.
Yeah. Well,
that's why Worf and him get along so well too. Worf respects him.
Oh, I mean, that's why Chief O'Brien is a battle-hardened.
Well, that's why Worf's dad knew so much about him when he showed up. Was like, oh, you're at least did like me. Yeah. Like, I love that part. It's like, because he was probably on the way out of his brevet rank by then, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's the one thing that would make me tune in. If you're doing Captain Worf, you got to have first up. And
but now that we're talking about, wouldn't that be an interesting series? Like to have a series focused around the enlisted folks?
That's what I mean. Like, and you got your first officer coming to terms that he's being forced to be a commissioned officer again against the will, because that happened based on the Rutledge. Yeah. Because of the set like 3 incident that forced him onto the officer line for a while. So that
plausible?
Again, like, Worf could only think of one person to be his first officer. Well, I'm an enlisted man. You held a rank before.
I would have taken
the young Worf would be better.
I would have taken Kira.
Kira?
Yeah.
Kira
Nerys kicks ass. Kicks ass.
No, Kira would be probably like President Kira by then, though, of her planet.
Oh yeah, Bajor. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. You're right.
She's like, especially in the Dominion War after that.
Yeah.
She's definitely like government by then, but on the way up from being chief of state and highest ranking military officer kind of thing.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'd say she had a very decorated career after that,
Yeah. That would make sense, yeah.
I'd like to see that. And then, but she, because of what happened, is Federation now, because they at the end of Deep Space Nine, they become part of the Federation. So she would have to be conferred the rank of captain anyway. That's why she was wearing the outfit.
Yeah.
Because she's a colonel.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so we'll see that because maybe she, served a special function there. Yada yada. I'd like to see that too. I mean, and none of visitors definitely channeled in a bit for anything like that.
We've never actually seen any kind of continuation of DS9. Like DS9, the lore from DS9 is getting some love in Picard right now.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen anything. Post, like we know that Cisco went to join the Prophets, and we know that Bajor joined the Federation, and
there's a statue in Starfleet Academy for Miles O'Brien.
For Miles O'Brien, the most important person in the fleet, which I believe is true.
Yeah, I do too.
Even more so than Scotty or anybody.
I more
else
figured he'd be teaching though in reality, like at the Academy.
I would say.
With all of his life experiences, he'd be like a 10-year professor at the Academy.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I definitely want to see more of what happened after DS9.
We see like Quark has a chain of places.
Has a chain.
That's what I mean.
He's got a franchise.
Well, I mean, your brother's a Grand Negus. You get a little bit of extra sugar or beetle snuff on your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, always exploit family. I think that's like Rule 35 of the Rules Acquisition.
Something like that, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I'd like to say it doesn't have to be Deep Space Nine. But the crew itself.
That's what I mean,
at
right?
Least some of the players themselves.
Yeah, I kind of hope that in Picard season 3 we get even more, right? Because like this season of Picard, we've gotten a little bit of the DS9 lore coming back, a little bit of the Voyager lore coming back. Like we've seen stuff that happened in the past with the Bell riots. We've seen that stuff happening. We've got a reference to General Cisco. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. We've got references to Janeway and Chakotay, how Admiral Janeway went to bat for.
She said Janeway was going to resign her admiralty because they weren't going to let her in the Starfleet. They weren't going to let her
in the Starfleet, which of course leads us to talking about this week's episode of Picard.
But shoot out the OK Corral.
Yeah,
Picard.
Boy. But I mean, like, there's so much going on in the franchise that just a little tidbit of what happened to these characters afterwards.
Yeah,
that's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah, just not even like in Simpsons, like Poochie's ship blew up on the way back to his planet.
Back to his planet, yeah.
But speaking of Picard,
man, what an episode.
So the imperfect Borg show up with her.
Yeah.
She goes over like, oh, there's the body. I need to get my outfit. And
she hauls out the Borg Queen and gets the outfit put on her.
It's a cool look for her, though.
Have you heard her online nickname?
No.
Borgatti.
Borgatti?
Borgatti.
That sounds like Girardi Borgatti sounds like something on Food Network.
Yeah.
But like, she was like, but you can see the confliction and the power of like her, her behind like the Queen.
Yeah.
Like she was able.
She had pull. She like even though Girardi couldn't really control the Queen's actions, she definitely controlled some of the Queen's conscience.
Yeah.
Conscience. Not consciousness.
Conscience. Yeah. Her morals.
It was definitely interesting to see that and spoilers, we've got a kinder, gentler Queen.
Yeah. Like
Girardi convinced the Queen to help instead of assimilate.
Well, they get more flies of honey to garbage. That's
exactly what it came down to. So I mean, this leads back to
you have all this power.
Our early prediction.
Yeah.
Girardi's the new Queen.
Yeah.
So this to me thinks that the Queen that we see in the future is Girardi.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said last week, took the long way around to get back to the 25th century. 25th? Yeah, because it's 2401 they came from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the 25th century. So there we have it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's who we see on the bridge. What was she doing? That's the question. What was she doing? She wasn't attacking the bridge. She wasn't attacking the Stargazer.
Needed help.
She needed help, but like everything that the Borg Queen in that first episode did was not an attack. It was defensive.
If the whole purpose of this season is leading to season 3.
Oh, absolutely.
That everything happens here, and this is just all preamble for season 3. What she needs the help for.
That's what I'm thinking. Absolutely, that's what I'm thinking.
This is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is all just preamble that just established like the game has changed now.
Yeah.
Because you broke time too when you went back there.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I got a feeling maybe something screws up.
Yeah.
Because
I definitely think at the end of this week's episode, when because this is season finale coming up, we're going to be like, what just happened? And then we're going to have to wait 6 or 7 months to find out.
So Sung ran off.
Sung ran off.
Play another day.
Yeah.
Although the rest of them got ventilated or teleported into rock. Wow, you see what happens when they talked about it in Star Trek 2, like, oh, we're going to beam down there. Yeah, but we'll get transported into solid matter. This is what happens when you do.
Yep. I mean, they've made a couple of references to that, because there was an episode in TNG where the Enterprise did a emergency transport at high warp.
Yeah.
And for a second, like, they showed up where they were, but Riker was like, I just thought I was in that wall back there. Yeah. So, like, we see. Yeah. This is what happens. Yeah. But did you notice they didn't just appear in the wall?
Yeah.
They took on the material properties
because
of
the Matrix ends up taking on the target.
So that was like, wow.
Yeah, good way to take them out. Oh, some of them were just like Rambo style. She went with that one. Was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was good, man. Yeah. Like, so.
She got to be whole again.
Who? Oh, Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seven's back
in order to save her life, the Borgati had to
nanoprobe
her. She had to put nanoprobes back in her body, and she got all her enhancements and stuff back. So I think that's how we're going to get back to the 25th century, because Seven's going to be able to do those calculations. She
had to go out and find herself backpacking in like the neutral zone.
Yeah,
that's where the Queen's gone.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, the Queen is gone.
She's got to find herself.
She took the La Serena, and she's gone.
Is that my ship?
Yeah.
Yep.
But I had a thought there for a second, and I forget what I was going to say. Okay,
Seven's going to get him back.
We see that Picard's trauma is
his mother.
Wow, just effing heartbreaking.
Even in the 24th century, you still had mental health struggles.
And
Dad was trying to help, and
his father was trying to help. And young Picard didn't realize what he was doing. He thought he was helping his mother. He let her out of that room.
Freaking heartbreaking, yeah. And he just he set her free, I guess.
You know, I don't want to say it on air, but she
ended her life on her own terms.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it.
That's what I mean. He set her free.
And that really leaves credence to the episode where no one has gone before. When Picard sees a vision of his mother, and she's an old lady offering him tea, and he actually says, I've always imagined her as an older lady offering to sit with me and have some tea. So I was like, oh my God. And now we understand why Picard doesn't want to get close to anybody. Because he's afraid they're going to leave.
He's going to lose them.
By suicide.
Yeah.
Right? And it was heartbreaking. It was like, and of course, so many of the toxic fans are like, oh, that would never happen, blah, blah, blah. Well, it did.
Why wouldn't it? It did, and it totally did.
Yeah.
And they're not paralleling like what happened in Patrick Stewart's life, because we know the details, and some of us do at least, he's old enough about that. But this is just like a facet of his character we've seen now.
Yeah, we've seen it.
This really is what explains why, and like even like All Good Things, that was all about like, he actually did for a while open up to somebody as Beverly.
Yeah.
And there's an alternate what if of that. Yeah. Of him again having that and then losing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the one time he did lose it again and discourage him maybe.
Yeah, so like Picard has got a history of I don't know what you want to call it, like loss issues.
Yeah. Keeps him from being like emotionally intimate with somebody.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it adds definitely a different interesting facet to the character. Right, like just imagine.
That's why he's been so solitary emotionally.
Yeah,
and even with his crew, like never really hung out with him on off hours. Beverly, yes, but they had like shared a history, trauma together.
Even during the first season of TNG, like the character of Picard was a very standoffish, very aloof, very staunch.
Old British officer style.
Old British officer style. And I mean, I got to tell you, like the first couple episodes of TNG, I really didn't like Picard.
No, well, right? It's not so much I didn't like him, but he very much, that's what he made me think of, is like old RAF officer pantaloons and the crop under his arm, and like reading Shakespeare.
Prim and proper, exactly.
Probably went to Cambridge or whatever and studying all this stuff, right? Like that's what I mean. Like then you have like the American first officer, from Alaska in the woods, shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
So the best thing is like you imagine see Riker look through like photo album of old family members, and like his ancestry is named after from the early 20th century or early 21st. Is like got a trucker hat on and a Hooter shirt.
That's what it would be.
That's what Riker's ancestor would look like.
Absolutely,
the beard and all.
I do not doubt that.
Hooter shirt.
Yeah.
And Wayne Knight champ.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean. But like that's what I mean. You get this mixture of like the different thing. Yeah. Although, like I said, then you get like people say the first somewhat openly Jewish character of Worf in a way, because somebody did raise a good point of that. It's like, well, no, the Klingon religion. So somebody said, no, they don't have a religion. They kill their gods.
That's right. Yeah,
They're self-sufficient people.
that's what Kalis did.
Yeah, that's why they celebrate
Killed
Kalis.
the gods.
Kalis, beat their chains open and freed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So, like, you see, like, somebody did point it out, like, the Jeremy boy that he bonded with or whatever, the little kid.
Yeah, the kid, yep.
When they're lighting the candles, there's 7 of them.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah. There's 7 of them in front, the menorah.
So that would be the menorah, yeah.
Yeah.
Never, ever realized that.
Also, at least half the writers were Jewish, so.
Yeah.
I heard Stephen Bear in that. But yeah, like, we're seeing Picard now get into gear into this, but they're regarding the history a lot better.
Yeah.
But they're actually adding character to people, not two-dimensional comic book heroes in a way. That
No,
are just
exactly.
like problem of the week and goes on. Because,
Yeah.
like, as much as there's all these great TNG episodes, a lot of them were Love Boat episodes, as I put them. Like, there's just like this and this happens and that happens because it's the biggest cruise ship in the galaxy, essentially, because there's, even the zaniness still, like when the starship was almost going to blow up and Worf had to deliver a baby and all this stuff, right?
All those crazy scenarios.
Yeah, or like, Beverly and the Ghost.
Oh God! Let's not go back to Beverly's sex ghost.
Oh, they got to make one mention of it. Real quick though, speaking of that area of Star Trek, also Lower Decks, Jack Wade was on Best of the Worst on Red Letter Media this week. He was a guest host. They all got to watch some crappy B-level cinema, including a Brian Bosworth film.
Brian Bosworth.
He was like
Brian
the football
Bosworth.
player,
Right.
Stone Cold, and
Right,
the Bikers.
right.
Yeah,
Brian
they
Bosworth.
watched that one together. A lot of people voted for him to watch it. But yeah, he was on that. When is that again? Did they say?
I don't see. I thought it was this month, but I haven't seen.
Yeah, I
Any
think they're just
official
going to
release
spring it on
dates?
us. Maybe they'll do it at the same time as The Boys comes out because that's next month.
That's next month. That's June.
I can't wait.
June
I
2nd.
can't wait.
Yeah,
I had to rewatch that the comic book episode, as I call it, because it's basically like it's done in the style of the comic.
This season coming up, was this 3 or 4?
This is season 3. Season 1 was the whole like uncovering, getting your eyes opened about the whole supers thing, and then season 2 was the Nazi behind the scene, and then season 3 now is like the lids wide open.
This is based on Herogasm, isn't it? This upcoming season.
Yeah, because Soldier Boy's from Herogasm, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. Because apparently, when he was able to announce that he was playing Soldier Boy, Jensen Ackles is on his Instagram reading an issue of the Herogasm arc, and he just looks down, raises his eyebrow, and looks back up at the camera, and that's what he put up on Instagram.
Smart.
Yeah, I read a bit of Herogasm. I never got to read the whole run yet.
And anybody who
They have to tone this down, and this is pretty wild on the
anybody
show.
who hasn't seen The Boys yet, by all means, watch it, but not with any children around.
Definitely. And don't
No
watch
kiddos.
clips at work.
Definitely not suitable for work.
Oh, man, from the opening of some episodes, it's just not safe for work.
No. It's it's intense.
Although some of the animated ones were a little bit.
The animated ones, apparently, out of all those animated shorts,
in continuity.
There was 4.
Yeah,
only 4 that were officially in continuity.
Well, including the smackhead speeding incident when he was doing the.
That one was.
Yep.
Yeah, that one was.
Because the alien guy is going to pop up apparently on the show, the live action, the Martian or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because he's not really one.
Yeah.
That
was the in continuity one. Johnny and Sung Lee Sung Yi, that was the in continuity.
When he used it to save her life when she had cancer.
Yeah. There was 4 in total. I can't remember exactly what
that's the same guy makes me laugh. Brooklyn Nine-Nine wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I wonder if he's going to pop up.
Nubian versus Nubian. That was the other.
Oh my God! I hope that's a thing.
Yeah.
Taco night. Yeah. She wrote that, and I love that she wrote that, and I could tell she wrote that.
Who?
What's her name? She's Lana on Archer.
Oh right, yeah.
She's the wife, and then War Machine's the husband.
Right.
What he names his boys.
Yeah.
Like that episode's just like I do watch like the one where like he goes right through Buddy. I'll watch that one at work now and again. It's like I won't watch that one with the sound up at work.
No.
Like they thrive on like just wrecking crap, and that poor old retired hero.
Yeah.
Oh man, and that kid at the end just like knew what she was about. It was like, okay, I want my horse.
Yeah.
I want my pony. Yeah. I can't repeat the actual line on there.
No, you cannot.
But that was great. They need to do that again in between. This is something that they need to do.
Well, I mean,
give us the whole universe of that show.
There's been such a break between season 2 and season 3 that they had to do something.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the thing. Like, unfortunately, the pandemic, I know production on a lot of these shows slowed or stopped.
Animated was the easiest thing you
kind
could
of got to
do,
do
and,
something to
yeah.
keep people interested.
And
right? Whet the
anthologies
appetite.
make it good because you can just get
anthologies
different
make it
people to do it. Like, The Boys is done by one animation studio for the one that was like the cartoon, the comic, and the other one that was like the John Kirk-Faluzzi one. I think that was actually John Kirk-Faluzzi.
Yeah.
The Ren and Stimpy one, The Baby's Day Out.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that's the same
That
guy
was
did Ren and
hilarious.
Stimpy.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Not
like,
in continuity, unfortunately. Sorry to tell you that one.
but it's just great though.
Yeah.
It's like their version of a kid's cartoon, I guess.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Is the Rick and Morty one with all the weird powers? That one is a thing, though, isn't it? That's one of the other ones, isn't it? The Kill Their Parents one?
Oh, yeah.
I think that one is actually in continuity.
I think it was too, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had a lot of characters introduced there from the comics too. So
Yeah, and a couple of them still survive afterwards.
Yeah. So, of course, upcoming at the end of this week, we have the drop of Stephen Strange,
Yep.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
See it too on Thursday.
Man, oh man, I cannot wait to see this.
I'm going to say all my tips to see if we can go for tacos first, maybe.
I am very excited to see this. Very, very excited to see
Isn't it
this.
fairly long?
3 hours or something? Two hours, 59 minutes or something like that?
Oh, I can't have my large drink
Why?
because I want to go pee halfway
Pee in the
through.
cup.
Oh, no.
It's only going to be 3 of us in the aisle, in the row.
I'm a loud peer.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
But they had a TV spot released last week that, man, dropped some big hints.
Yeah, one of them is
definitely
suspecting
see-
that apparently Xavier is the cartoon Xavier,
version,
which-
X-Men animated.
and that third eye blinked.
That's interesting to see.
Well, I mean, they're about where DC kind of doesn't let that stuff mingle a bit, but Marvel's like, let's let it all
Let
mingle.
it all mingle. Right, and we see Captain Carter's shield. So without a doubt, we've got Captain Carter and animated Xavier. Big stuff. Really, really psyched about this movie. Cannot wait to see. And I think, well, I mean, obviously this is going to be jumping off point for phase, I don't know, 5, 10, 18, whatever the hell it is, of the Marvel Universe. Kevin Feige has said that as of this movie, or even now, before this movie comes out, they're planning out the next 15 years of Marvel content.
Well, they need to make sure they map it right, just make sure,
Yeah, they need.
they got a lot of
need to do
history
that.
they can dig from, right?
lot of
So
history.
they got to make sure it all works together.
Yeah,
And now that they got basically just about everything under one roof.
yeah.
And I think I got my theory about Spider-Man, his little vacation for a couple films, what they're going to do. That little remnant is going to be his black suit saga.
Probably.
And Venom wasn't like the Venom thing we saw where he popped in and out. That happened to Vulture as well.
Yeah.
That same thing. So I think Venom's going to use that focus and pull him over. He's going to have his
Possibly,
black suit and then he's going to get pulled over and then we're going to have the Sinister Six movie. Because they're already recruiting for the Sinister Six.
That makes sense.
So that'll happen, and then they'll probably be part of the multiverse thing. I think we're going to get more fluidity between the universes.
We're definitely going to get more fluidity between the universes. I would like to see at some point, whether it be a TV series on Disney or feature-length film, an Exile series.
Yeah.
Because the Exiles were the dimension jumping.
Makes sense. Yeah. But as well, Sony could produce it because of the fact that I think that this Sinister Six still kind of ties into multiverse, where it's the walls are weakening is why Toombs got knocked over into Morbius's universe.
Yep.
And around when Spider-Man 3 was happening, which is probably unfolding all this, is also, fallout from it and everything happening at the same time. That's why they're not pushing anything apart. I think we're going to get stuff getting blown wide open. In fact,
Oh, without a doubt.
like you're saying, like cartoons, Spider-Man and his amazing friends could even be fodder for this.
Can you imagine?
The
A live-action Firestar and a live-action Iceman? Holy crap.
imagine if we're still allowed to see Spider-Man stuff in there, and they pop in one of the ones from the Into the Spider-Verse.
That would be cool.
Pops in this. I mean, they said they're going to actually let their stuff play along a bit better, and they're just going to grade it case by case.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, they're all playing nicer now. Like DC has the advantage because everything is under one roof. Marvel's just finally got it lined up.
They're making sense, and of course that helps their bottom line.
Yeah.
Except for Morbius.
Yeah. That was getting something out of the way, I think.
I think you're right. I think that was
think
like,
that was tearing a
we
Band-Aid
made a
off.
contract here. We got to do this.
Because, like I said, the post and mid credits were a lot more interesting.
Yeah,
they
see?
established everything and lined it up.
Yeah.
Here's your origin. Here's how your powers work. Here's your person that made you who you are today. And done. Now you're going to fund yourself, buddy. And
Yeah. Go have fun.
yeah, now there's others like you that are superpowered.
But on that same token, like we have a Chameleon movie being made?
I think it's the same thing. I think
Right,
I think
why?
it was having to be a certain thing.
Why?
I think though the Chameleon movie is going to be for more than one character. I got a feeling they're going to wrap a couple into it to wrap it up. Maybe we'll get the other few 6, and then we'll get our Sinister Six. Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six may be the next movie.
Could be.
Yeah, so they may do Chameleon as the wrap up.
I'm very interested in the Craven movie.
Yeah.
Right? I know it's not going to happen because all these standalone films Sony is trying to do without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But man, if they could do Craven's Last Hunt.
Well, I mean, DC, that's what they're doing with the film. Sometimes they'll just, especially the animators, they'll just adapt a story that people just want to see, and they got to start doing that. Craven's Last Hunt would be amazing.
Oh my God, so good.
You do like a Marvel Black Label film.
Yeah.
You know, and you can let Sony or Marvel do it. And like, you know, Sony's like, okay, we're going to do this Black Label one. We're going to do Craven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
We're just going to do Craven.
And that would definitely be like rated R.
Yeah.
No kids allowed to that one.
That's what I mean. Like, that's what DC has done now with their, they don't have Vertigo anymore. They have Black Label.
Black Label? Okay.
Yeah. So that's what they do now. That's an actual term now for the comics. Like the R-rated Batman film where you see little Batman, not film, comic, that was Black Label.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That whole thing a couple of years ago was like, you could see his pee-pee. I'm like, yeah, it's an R-rated comic.
Yeah.
He's disrobing after combat.
Yeah, he just, took out gangs and stuff. So.
But that's the thing of Marvel, too. They need to get into the more meatier stuff. But, I mean, we're getting that now. Yeah. But, like, we're getting, like Daredevil and everything's coming back, apparently. All the Netflix stuff.
Oh, yeah,
That was a lot more grittier. And
yeah.
So, I think we're going to start seeing that. And Exiles will be nice, and a few others.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'd like to see. I mean, like Disney Plus is doing so well with all these, like Moon Knight. This episode of Moon Knight was absolutely phenomenal. We saw Tawet, and it was like, here she is, this hippopotamus, this talking hippopotamus.
Poor thing's out of her element.
Yeah. Oh man,
It's just like, oh, you're kind of like something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And we still didn't see Jake Lockley.
No, he's in banging in his box.
Oh, pissed me off.
I think that's what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. The boys need to find like a Popeye moment,
Well,
hopefully.
at the end of this episode, we saw, hang on, I got to get the character straight here. Steven got
caught in the sea of
got
whatever.
caught in the sea of whatever it is.
He got frozen in there.
So he's essentially, his soul is basically damned now.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Jake Lockley is in that sarcophagus trying to get out, Mark can go let Jake out.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm guessing like he wants to have that. I don't know. But anyway, wicked episode.
I've been
Oscar
enjoying it.
Isaac deserves 2 Oscars. Or 2 Emmys.
Was it somebody posted me? I love the chemistry Oscar Isaac has on screen with Oscar Isaac.
With Oscar Isaac.
Oh man,
It's perfect. Like
But
the
you
man,
learn,
the man
like-
changes everything about his persona.
But I mean, like,
based on what character he's playing at the
I love
time.
it when like it's them and they're watching the moment where Stephen Grant comes to be,
Yeah,
and it's you learn that he had a really bad childhood.
terrible.
He didn't go to his mummy. He didn't go to his mummy Shiva.
No,
No. Dad was there, and he's like, no, I can't.
can't get in there.
No.
And you see him. I mean, we see Stephen Grant make his first true appearance when he was a kid.
Yeah.
But that scene at his mother Shiva, he cracks.
Yeah, he's where he actually loses.
And apparently, that was only a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Right, like this wasn't years and years and years and years ago.
No.
This was only
This is
like
recent
2 or
development,
3 months before the series takes place.
Yeah.
So I mean, Mark Spector at this point was already Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was chosen as Mark Spector. Well, he wasn't chosen as Mark Spector and Stephen Grant.
No, he was chosen as Mark Spector.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Stephen Grant persona broke through, and
Yeah.
that's why Khonshu was pissed off
Because 2 were wielding the power.
2 were wielding the power, although they kept Stephen Grant under wraps, pun intended, under wraps for the longest time.
Snappy dresser.
Snappy dresser, Mr. Knight is such a good-looking character.
His outfits are really nice.
It's really, really cool. It's really, really
Sleeves up, vest, and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Although I hope we get to see some throwdown in this episode.
cool. Yeah, like the action has not been great.
I think this is his Morbius, so to speak. This is his origin before
origin
he gets
story.
into something else. Because we're also seeing like the Black Knight. Blade's been heard off screen, so we're going to start seeing the more street level, hand to hand, kind of. Still pretty high powerhouse level characters, but they're more into their own areas.
They're not. Yeah, they're not. I mean, like Moon Knight is not Thanos beater,
No,
Right, Daredevil is not a Thanos beater, right? Like they're not god level
We
characters.
could get the Secret Defenders.
That would be cool.
That would be great. Although
That'd be
they gotta
cool.
do it as like a joke, like kind of like we could be the Secret Defenders.
Yeah.
Let's just say the Defenders, man. The Secret thing just sounds lame.
Just sounds dumb. But I mean, like, Moon Knight has been an Avenger in the past. Both a primary Avenger and a West Coast Avenger. So you might bleed into that, especially now. We've got Hawkeye.
Yeah.
We've got Ironheart coming up.
Yep.
We've got Moon Knight.
Yep.
I mean, that's 3 characters.
And,
we got the U.S. Agent.
Yep.
That's 4 characters that are West Coast Avengers right there.
Ms. Marvel, I think, maybe taking the place of Binary or whatever her name is, the energy one, because her power set seems more towards hers.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to take up that, and as well, her membership on the Avengers was her first real hero thing. Yes. She was a scientist.
Yeah. All right, so there's still, I can't believe we just burned through that hour like that.
A lot of good stuff.
So we still got a lot of stuff of content coming up. Next week we'll have our review of, and you know what? It's going to be spoiler filled.
Oh, it's going to be
spoiler filled
everywhere.
So it's going to be like a spoiler of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And until next time, Bat Fiends, what the hell was that? I don't know. All right, we'll be back next week. Same geek time, same geek channel. Say goodnight, geek.
Good night.